2022 has been an amazing year for Microsoft Flight Simulator. There's been some fantastic updates, many world updates, and also a few surprises along the way. Now it looks like 2023 is going to be no different. I did a video last week before, on some of the large features we can expect to see. But meanwhile, as time moves forward, we may well want to know what's happening in terms of development, what sort of fixes we can expect to see, and what's Microsoft and Asobo's general opinion on the sim going forward. The recent Q&A addressed many of these issues and many of these questions, so we're going to take a look at those in this video. Now keep in mind, Microsoft and Asobo have both said they're keeping themselves flexible in terms of developments for the future. The next 12 months certainly have a rough plan laid down. We've seen a roadmap for that, but everything is not entirely locked in place in terms of its structure and timeframes. Their view is that locking in every minute of development time and every detail tends to cause more problems than it is worth and reduces the ability to be adaptable and flexible. So yeah, like I say, we've seen the roadmap for the next year. We have a good idea on what to expect, but in terms of general fixes and improvements, it seems the development team want to be very flexible and allowed room for a maneuver here. Now in terms of some upcoming content outside of the big updates, there's a new plane, the Antonov AN-225. It is still in development. Now obviously the terrible issues in Ukraine have made this somewhat of a sensitive subject, obviously because of the problems there, but also because the plane itself was destroyed. However, Microsoft do still want to release the plane. It's being developed by a third party, but it looks as though it will be published by Microsoft. There's no release date for it just yet, but Microsoft were clear to say, very keen to point out in fact, that the work is still ongoing. Jörg Newman, head of Microsoft Flight Simulator, have said that it's very, very close. Ray tracing, that's another subject that has been asked for a number of years now for the sim. Asobo's CEO, Sebastian Wallach, said that there's no ETA for this at the moment, but as soon as they do have one, they will start talking about it. The answer to this one then is pretty interesting for a number of reasons. In the past, when Asobo are not planning on implementing a feature, they will clearly state that. So it seems they do want ray tracing to be a thing for the sim. However, how long that takes is anyone's guess. It could possibly be many months or perhaps even many years before we actually see it, and for some reason they are reluctant to discuss it. Either way though, it's looking like ray tracing will be a thing sooner or later. I'd imagine though that it will bring all manner of performance related questions. WASM on Xbox. Now many people were no doubt expecting, because Microsoft said it was going to, were expecting to see this in the 40th anniversary update. However, Microsoft have said that it's now coming with Sim Update 12, which is scheduled for March. This is because they say the consumer user experience for WASM was not quite there yet. They want to get this right, so it is taking a lot of time. Jörg was keen to point out that WASM is going to be a milestone for console gaming, as it's something that has never been done before. Quite naturally, this statement will probably bring up the question for a number of people, just what exactly is WASM anyway? So it is in actual fact WebAssembly. This is a programming language that is capable of creating executable binaries, so in short it's capable of creating programs that we can run. For Microsoft Flight Simulator this is beneficial because it allows to make more complex add-ons. This is why we see planes such as the PMDG airliners. These are far more complex than other such add-ons. These are also notably missing from Xbox because they do require this programming language. Microsoft don't allow this type of add-on, this type of code, to be added or created by end users on the Xbox platform. Understandably, because they don't want people creating malicious code that could then be run on consoles. So this is why it really is a new turning point for the consoles. If Asobo can come up with a method to allow this type of code to be safely run on Xbox, then it really is a game changer. It means that over time, the console will finally start seeing the add-ons and mods that just aren't available on it and have so far only been available on PC, so yet something I can understand a lot of people really do want to see. Currently, like I say, it's being aimed for March in Update 12, Sim Update 12. Moving on to another subject, water physics. Are improvements going to be happening here? Well, it turns out that this is something that has been in the development queue for quite a long time. Asobo pointed out that now all the huge amount of work that went into helicopters is out of the way. There is room for Asobo to move on to other things. One of these is the ability to relook at water physics. Again, there's no ETA on this, but it is something that's coming further down the line. Jörg Newman emphasised the whole point a little bit more by discussing it in a little bit further. He extended the comments on this one by stating that water physics are indeed a huge subject and are in fact one aspect of three big changes the sim needs. These are water, seasons and ATC. He said the implications of these on both the sim as well as development are huge, and that we shouldn't be surprised if we don't see these in 2023. On a somewhat smaller subject, a less complex subject, birds. What is the future of these avians? Well, the question came up because someone was pointing out that birds really do help with gliders finding thermals. This is something that both Asobo and Microsoft have thought about, but it's really not a priority. Elsewhere, why are roads green? I think this is something that has been asked before. They talked about it a little bit more here. Asobo said that ambient lighting or exposure can make roads look green in some cases. In other occasions, it's due to satellite imagery, and this really depending upon the time of year and atmospheric conditions that the satellite imagery was taken under. The systems used do usually try and colour correct anything that looks like a problem, but it seems that this solution isn't 100% perfect. So it's something that is a work in progress and will continue to improve over time. Player-controlled tow planes for gliders is another relatively minor feature, but something that really could add substantially to the game. This, Microsoft said, is something for further down the line. It really does seem like a natural fit after all. Then we come to the subject of future crossover content like the Halo Pelican and Top Gun Maverick. Is there going to be any more content like this in 2023 and after? Well, Microsoft, Jörg, was very tight-lipped about this, as clearly he doesn't want to spoil any of it, but he did say that there will be some surprises in the future. The subject of DLSS support. Now, this one has one of those features that was waiting for a long time, but did really disappoint a few people, probably quite a few people actually, with the blurred cockpit displays. Now, the answer to this from Microsoft was somewhat of a surprise to me. Firstly, because this problem is still happening. I thought it had been fixed, but obviously not. And Microsoft seemed to be a little surprised about the subject and really had no answer on when this will be fixed. After a little bit of back and forward their exact words were, "We are looking into it." So again, that's a bit surprising to hear, as the problem has been around for quite a while now. Hopefully though, they will get it fixed sooner rather than later. Jörg also admitted, in terms of problems, that Microsoft and Asobo were not very proud of the photogrammetry cities in World Update Canada. He said that this is something they definitely want to fix. Microsoft were disappointed with the way cities turned out and understand they didn't clear them up enough, so that's something that will be fixed in the future. He also said regarding the photogrammetry that, just like most simmers out there, he is also fed up with not being able to fly under bridges. This is something he wants to change. Now, it sounds like this is going to be something that will be fixed over time rather than in one big sweeping hit. The first batch of bridges that are going to be fixed will come with the next city update, or one of the future city updates, which is going to be City Update Germany. Meanwhile, new ATC voices. These are coming. Again, it doesn't have a release date, but they will be coming soon, they say. Same deal for a screen wiper blades to remove rain from the canopies of your airplanes. So yeah, there we go. That then pretty much brings us to the end of all of the details from the Q&A, all the relatively minor details and some probably quite significant things as well. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.